like, wow, it's tough out there. And I thought that these facts would help you as well. And we could spend a little time going through Brian's presentation. And then after his presentation, I thought we could introduce our community partners and maybe have you guys tell us what are some strategies, how we can get your students, and then maybe we can give them some feedback of what we need. Because I'm sure by the shaking of the heads, we're all having trouble finding the right candidate, right? So I'll turn this over to you, Brian.
Thank you. I'm going to sit down if that's okay. So, thanks for having me here today. Again, this presentation has zero to do with Career Builder, but more about what the makeup of the labor, I guess what the workforce looks like, not only here in Nevada, but what it looks like nationwide. What's the supply, what's the demand, who's hiring, what's the competitive landscape, the whole deal. Interestingly enough, before I flew here today, I actually sat at an event called the Argyle Executive Board. And they go all around the country on these executive panels, strictly for HR, CHROs, VP of HRs, etc. And I'll tell you what, I sat through 3 presentations in a row from Altera, Oracle, you name it, and the consistency was data, analytics. Today's HR people need to, I guess, start transitioning into being, one of the guys from Oracle said, organizational architect. So taking that data and figuring out what to do with it is kind of one of the things that's critical in your role today. And so what I want to go through for the most part is data. So I titled it Rising to the New Challenges of Recruiting. And so first I want to focus on just Las Vegas, Clark County. What's really going on? The perception out there is that there was a recession, everybody moved, there's a low supply of quality candidates, but there's still a high demand. Every organization, every property, everybody even outside of gaming, healthcare, etc., they just can't find people here in Las Vegas, and they're wondering where the people went and where they are today. So what I pulled together is actually the migration pattern of people moving in and out of Las Vegas or in and out of Clark County. So I think the challenge is not only where are the people, but where are they moving from, and how do you put your opportunities that are here in Las Vegas in front of individuals? So instead of saying, hey, there's a low supply, what do we do? The challenge becomes, candidates need to know you're there, right? One thing that I find interesting about this, if you look at the average inbound income, $22,000. And so there is a lot of people. So this is from actually Forbes. So this is free. Anybody can go online, you can Google Forbes migration patterns. But this is from the census report. But if you look at 2010, we had a little bit over 103,000 people from around the country migrating to the Las Vegas or Clark County area, and their median income was $22,000. And I know there's a lot of opportunities at all the properties that at least pay $22,000, if not more. The challenge is just putting those opportunities in front of the right people and making, I guess, the workforce aware that you're there and there's a great opportunity. Going off of that, I just want to say, when the recession hit, migration is slowing. So that goes back to just making sure your opportunities are out there and again, making people aware of what's here in Las Vegas. Again, slow uptick, right? So if you look at 2011, 2012 migration patterns, they're still slowing, but it's still happening. And so when they're moving into Las Vegas, you have all these great job fairs that are going on, and people are going up, and, all the different partner sites. But again, just going back to, let's get the word out there and let people know that there's opportunity here in Las Vegas. Oops. Sorry about that. I skipped a slide. It was really important. So I titled this slide The Challenge. And so this is actually the last 12 months in Las Vegas. How many opportunities have been advertised online? So if there was some sort of job online, whether that was through your ATS, through a job board, through an aggregator, through some sort of collegiate site or partner site, this is going to show in these stats. So roughly in the last 12 months, there was 350,000 opportunities advertised in Clark County. But at the same time, the active workforce was 205,000. So there's obviously a huge demand and a low supply of candidates that are actively looking for a job. And then if you look at the job posting trends of organizations advertising online, it's only on an uptick. So there's still, the demand is going to go up, go up, go up, go up, go up. But the active workforce is not increasing, right? And then I just wanted everybody to understand a little bit about the average median income for Las Vegas. It's about $60,000. Now this is broad, this is across the board. But on average, people in Las Vegas make $60,000, believe it or not. And so, knowing that there's a high demand and a low supply, I wanted everybody to just get a good understanding of the unemployment rate and by industry. So these are buckets of the unemployed. So as of, let's see, March of this year, there was 97,102 people unemployed here in the Las Vegas market. But if you look at the buckets that these individuals fall in, one being no previous work experience at all. So 14% of the unemployed today have never had a job. And so when we do a lot of career fairs and I've met with a lot of properties, I hear a lot of, hey, it's great exposure, but we just don't have quality people showing up. I would guess that a large amount of the people that are showing up for these events are the unemployed, and now you have a better understanding of the buckets they sit in. The good news is 28% are in accommodation and food services, which with my experience with a lot of individuals, F&B is always a challenge. It has a high attrition rate, but there is a lot of people out there looking for work. And then the other big buckets, obviously construction and retail trade, etc. But I think it's important as organizations develop their recruitment strategies and they're going after the right individuals or the demographics they want to go after, they understand, I guess, what buckets the unemployed fall into. My next slide, I just want to cover a little bit about the skills gap. So we talk about, again, quality people, where are they coming from? This is actually the completions of an associate's degree or higher last year in Clark County. Is anybody shocked? Is this a lot? Is this a little? It's not that many, right? You have roughly, probably maybe 10,000. So there's 10,000 people in Clark County last year that got an associate's degree or higher. But more importantly, look at what they got a degree in. So 4,500 almost are in healthcare. That doesn't really help out the hospitality industry very much. And so I think it's important. So you always have to have partners here in the Las Vegas market, but also look at collegiate programs around the country or even regionally that are putting out individuals with the degrees and the majors that your organizations are looking for. So I want to just go on to the supply, because one thing I always hear is, well, nobody wants to move here to Vegas, or I can't get people to move here for this job or that job. But if we look at the migration pattern on the first slide, there is a lot of people moving here. And so what I challenge organizations to do is, let's go out and put your recruitment strategy, put some data, I guess, behind your recruitment strategy, and push it out to the markets where we know there's a large supply of people. And so what this slide is showing, if you look at their most recent job titles, these are the top 10 job titles when it comes to hospitality nationwide. So host, hostesses being number one. But on the other end, if you look at easiest areas to recruit based on those job descriptions or job titles, these are the top 10 metropolitan areas with the largest supply of candidates. And so just going back on the data, I would look at, hey, where are people moving from these places? Tucson, St. Louis, Indianapolis, Miami, etc. Put your opportunities in those cities, no matter how you're pushing them out there. Show that there's opportunity here in Vegas, and let's bring them here. We know there's a large supply and they're looking for a job. Let's put that job in front of the qualified individuals that everybody's looking for. And then again, there's just a small heat map of the supply, and then major metropolitan areas based on change. So if you look at the greater Chicago area, it's up 209% as far as the supply of individuals in the hospitality industry. And then it's kind of funny because I feel like a lot of people move out of Chicago. If you look at their migration pattern, nobody's moving there. Everybody's moving out. And they're all coming this way. San Diego, Vegas, Scottsdale, etc. They love the warm weather. The next slide, I just want a little bit about the collegiate side. So as you partner with different colleges, universities, different types of vocational schools around Nevada, look outside Nevada, look regionally, look nationally. If you look at the top 10 universities that are putting out individuals that you want, this is where they go to school. So UOB coming in number one, but then you have the other 9. If you don't have a partnership with these universities around the country or regionally, I would, because a lot of it's free, and students want jobs. And so for all those entry levels, 0 to 2 years, especially as a lot of you recruit in IT, engineering, finance, if they're coming out of school, it's a good fit, and it's a good fit for a lot of internships at organizations too. And then again, top 10 majors nationwide. If you look at what people are majoring in, business administration and management, number 1. But look at number 2, hospitality administration and management. So there's a lot of individuals out there. It's just really looking at the data and finding out where they are instead of, I like to call it just kind of like a post and pray method, which a lot of organizations do. They put a job on their ATS, they put a job, and then Indeed scrapes it, and then nobody applies, and they just hope that somebody finds it. It's like a candidate finding a needle in a haystack. But yeah, again, I challenge each and every one of you to go out there and put opportunities, the right opportunities, where people are in front of the right people. I wanted to go into a little bit about online candidate behavior and more importantly, millennial candidate behavior. So all the presentations that I sat through this morning all focused on Gen Y, all focused on millennial candidate behavior. Reason being is, so today, the boomers still outnumber anybody else in the workforce. There's more baby boomers in the workforce than anything else. But by 2025, there's going to be more millennials in the workforce than any other generation. And so if you look at your middle management, your senior management, your upper management, the people that you're trying to attract today, being those millennials, that's who's going to be in the position of power, or I guess position of leadership come 2025. And so start to look at different types of strategies on how millennials look for jobs. And so here's a stat. So the average millennial, or the average job seeker, I guess, looks at 15 different sources online before applying to an opportunity. So I would think to yourself, is your organization even on 15 sources? And that could be any social media site, your own website, job boards, things like Glassdoor, LinkedIn, etc., YouTube. We do a lot of executive events, and one thing we always tell our executives is, everybody go on YouTube, and I want you to type in, what is it like to work for X? So your organization. And a lot of people are actually pretty shocked what comes up. The majority of the time, there's nothing. But if there's nothing, there's a lot of bad stuff too. Because ex-employees or people that have worked for you in the past, they'll go on and make a video in 2 seconds about how they hate working there and you suck, right? But positive reinforcement is being, what is it like to work at, Wynn or MGM or Fifth Street Gaming, etc. It's important to be on all those various sources because similar to myself, when I go buy a new car, I'm going to read consumer reviews, I'm going to look at different things to make sure that it's the right choice, it's the right fit. Applying to a job or going to a job, it's a life-changing event. People research an organization before they apply. So knowing that they look at 15 different sources, here's something that's interesting too. 39% of your workforce today that's already working for you is looking for another opportunity for tomorrow. So day one, they're onboarded, they go through a training class, they're already sitting in their chair wondering what else is out there. If you look at this graph, and this isn't career builder data, by the way, in case anybody's wondering, but 31% of your workforce or your internal workforce is for the most part happy where they are. So if you look at a stat like that, the majority is always looking for something. Whether they're on their mobile device, or they're on LinkedIn at break, or they're on a job board, they're always looking for opportunities. And so it's important as organizations to not only understand the data and put opportunities to fill positions, but also put opportunities out there to backfill what you already have. Because you know your internal workforce is consistently looking for a job. Another interesting stat. So on average, here's the amount of time that individuals in the workforce are looking for opportunities before they actually take action. I don't know if anyone's surprised by this. I was the first time I saw it, but the majority of people, 1 to 3 months before they ever apply to an opportunity, they're researching you already. 3 to 6 months, up to a year. So you have people that may be unemployed, they may be in the workforce, but they've been researching organizations or been researching where they want to make that life change up to a year before they take action. And so what I would do is go back at your own recruitment strategies and think, okay, not only we're having a tough time putting opportunities and finding quality people, but how are your organizations staying engaged with these individuals throughout their process before they take action? So are you staying engaged with them, 1 month, 3 months, 4 months, 6 months before they decide to go and apply through ATS or however they do? Just make sure that there's some sort of strategy out there because online candidate behavior will tell you that they're out there and they're always looking. So a little bit about where they're looking for online candidate behavior. So out of the total internet audience, 75% of everybody in the United States is on a smartphone, right? There's just no way around it. I don't think you could not get a smartphone if you went to go sign up for a cell phone today. 63% use search engines, so your Google, Bings, Ask, Yahoos, etc. 67% of the US population is on social media. So I think in 2013, companies have finally embraced social media. I remember when I first started for Career Builder, it was like talking in hieroglyphics when I talk to people about social media. And today, I think at one point, everyone's embraced it. So that's good. So now it's, how do we have that SEO strategy? How are we on search? How do we mobilize our recruitment platforms and engage with candidates through a mobile device? And then last but not least, only 25% of the US population even looks at job boards. Career Builder didn't leak them. So if your strategy is kind of stuck in the 25%, you're missing out on 75% of the vote. So 75% of the workforce is out there looking on different platforms, and they're just not finding you. So that adds a lot to, I guess, how difficult it is to find quality people. They literally can't find you online because a lot of organizations aren't sitting on these platforms today. I pulled this is Google data. These are the top 10 mobile job search terms on Google. Number 2 is hospitality. So 40% of all people on Google, now keep in mind, there's 300 million job searches on Google done every single month. 300 million. So 40% of those are done on a mobile device. In hospitality alone, that's not even counting the remainder of these categories. So if you think about 100,000 people that Googled you, 40,000, they're just leaving because they can't even read your ATS or your website, or they can't apply, or they can't read the information because you don't have a mobile strategy in today's market. And if you look, it's just increasing. You know, the CEO of GoDaddy, I was just there on Monday, they just acquired a mobile company because he thinks by the end of 2014 or even mid, 50% of all internet traffic is going to come from a mobile device, some sort of iPad, an iPhone, etc. Sure. So Wynn. So since November to April, we've actually delivered 100,000 candidates to Wynn between Wynn and Encore. 30% of all those candidates came through a mobile device. So you figure 30,000 people? 30,000. So they're losing 30,000 people. Now I want to kind of go back a little bit. Think about millennials, right? We are the era of simplicity, and we want things now, right? If I can't find it on my phone, I'm like, forget this. I'm gonna go look at something else because I am like the era I want it now. That's how people look for jobs, and those might be the individuals that are the best fit and the quality of candidates that you're looking for. And so it is just a large amount of candidates, and we're fixing that with Wynn. You know, moving forward, we'll be able to capture people through a mobile device, but just some food for thought. And then what I want to wrap up with, because I saw this picture and I was blown away. Can anybody tell me what this is? No. No.
They're never going to guess.
Okay. So this picture's been floating around the internet. So this is the Pope inauguration. So in 2005, that's what it looked like. So in 2005, I had a BlackBerry. I mean, it recorded video, it, you know, took pictures, but I'll be honest, I don't remember having it out and everything I did. This was this year's. So I can only imagine in 5 years, what is it going to look like? And so just kind of recap what I said, and I'll leave you with this, is I challenge everybody to look at the data, to understand what's really going on in the workforce. Where is the supply? Who are they? Where do they work? What do they make? Where are they looking? You know, am I on mobile? What is it like to work in an organization? And I promise if you start adopting these various strategies, you will find quality people in your